Hello everyone, welcome to free crash course on competitive exams held by VIRAT Hindustan SANGHAM and in association with Manifest IAS. This program is inspired by Dr. SWAMY and it was inaugurated on 28th of January. So this program is convened by Shri RAVISHANKAR sir, State Education Convener for VHS Karnataka and also President of Good Neighbors India NGO. So I am the chief mentor of your program. I have been mentoring civil service aspirants for past 5 years. Okay, so you can watch this program online on the YouTube channel of VIRAT Hindustan SANGHAM and also on the YouTube channel of Udaya News Karnataka. Okay, so here is your timetable with syllabus. We are done with polity. Now we are negotiating the history and we are going to end the program with general science probably in the month of April. Okay, so what to expect out of these classes? What to expect out of these classes both for freshers and veterans? Freshers and veterans, how to use this program? Freshers can use this program as a concept clearing class in order to get gist of what they are supposed to study, and veterans can use this as a revision program. Revision program. Your entire syllabus should be revised once. You can join our Telegram channel, VHS Education Forum. So here is the link and also the QR code. You can join our Telegram channel. Yes. So you can join our Telegram channel. Here is the link for your doubts clearing and also any other queries. Okay. So we are done till now. So yesterday we were discussing new forces. New forces, half of it is over. Half of it is over. Today we are beginning day 7 of history. Day 7 of history. And here is the source. The source for you is Spectrum Publications. Spectrum Publications, one and only source for your modern India. So we'll begin the class. So yesterday I discussed till peasants agitation. Peasants agitation. Today we'll talk about growth of trade unionism. Trade unionism grew. After what? Your non-cooperation movement. ಅಸಹಕಾರ ಚಳುವಳಿ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ಯೂನಿಯನಿಸಂ ಶುರು ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Trade unionism. So what is this trade unionism? Trade unionism means there are industry. There is industry. So there will be workers. These workers together form a union, workers union. So this union is called trade union. This union is called trade union. So the first trade union was led by All India Trade Union Congress, AITUC. AITUC was the first trade union movement in 1920 and its president was Lala Lajpat Rai. Lala Lajpat Rai was the president of the first trade union, All India Trade Union Congress. So they carry out many strikes, railway strikes, industry strikes, many cotton mill strikes and many other strikes. So these were the functions of trade unionism after NCM in the 1920s. NCM, non-cooperation movement, asahakara chaluvali. So next, caste movements. In the 1920s, there were many caste movements. So what caste movements? So I discussed in the socio-religious reforms. There were Justice Party in Madras, and also self-respect movement held by Periyar Ramswamy Naikar started the self-respect movement, and also there were Satya Shodhak activities activists in Maharashtra. In Maharashtra, Satya Shodhak activities, Satya Shodhak Samaj started by Jyotiba Phule. They were also active, and also Mahars under Ambedkar. I talked about it. Mahars under Ambedkar go and take the water from a well and drink it. So that will become a huge movement. So Mahars under Ambedkar. And Elava movement, radical Elava movement in Kerala, radical Elava's movement in Kerala. So these were some of the caste movements. Elava movement led by Sri Narayana Guru. Narayana Guru led the Elava movement. Okay. Next, revolutionary activity with a turn towards socialism. There were revolutionary activity. Revolutionary activity, already said, it is violent activity. Violent activity, it turned towards socialism. These activists turned towards socialism. Two parties, one is Hindustan Republic Association. Hindustan Republic Association, your Bhagat Singh was a part of Hindustan Republic Association. Later it was named as HSRA, Hindustan Socialist Republic Association. So one is HSRA, another is Yugantar and Anushilan group. This was HRA was in Punjab region, Yugantar and Anushilan in West Bengal region. Okay. So revolutionary activity during the 1920s. So earlier, after the Swadeshi movement, got over in 1908, there was lot of revolutionary activities. So I discussed about many conspiracy cases, Alipur conspiracy, many other conspiracy cases. So Sachin Sanyal was there, Baba Ramchandra was there, your Gadar party was there. So many conspiracy cases took place. So what were the revolutionary activity, violent activity during the 1920s against the British? So why attraction to revolutionary activity? Just like after Swadeshi movement, there was revolutionary activity, right? Similarly, after non-cooperation movement, also there were revolutionary activity. Even after non-cooperation movement, there were revolutionary activity. So why did they start after non-cooperation movement? First thing, police had done lot of repression. Police had actually tortured people. That is why people wanted to take revenge. So afterwards, even abrupt ending of non-cooperation movement. Non-cooperation movement was stopped immediately by Gandhiji. This was disliked by many youth. Many youth did not like the stopping of non-cooperation movement. That's why they took to revolutionary activity. Okay. So after non-cooperation movement, Gandhiji said, you go and do constructive work. Constructive work, that is abolition of untouchability, build Hindu-Muslim unity, education, political education, all these activities you do, was said by whom? Gandhiji. However, youth did not want that kind of activities. They wanted action. So that is why they take up revolutionary activity. So who were the major revolutionaries in this time? It was Surya Sen was there, Bhagat Singh was there, Sukhdev was there, Chandrasekhar Azad was there, so Bhagwati Charan Vora was there. So many activists. So what was the major influences? Why did this start? Major influences. One is working class trade unionism. So in my previous slide, I told trade unionism which had a tilt towards revolutionary activities. Trade unionism led to revolutionary activity, right? So similarly, this trade unionism was one of the reasons for revolutionary activity. Trade unionism, working class people were actually, they had a revolutionary tilt, violent tilt. Next, Russian Revolution. Russian Revolution was also a influence. Russian Revolution was also a influence. And there were communist groups. So Communist Party had started in 1920. That was also a influence for revolutionary activity. Okay. So there were many journals, so many newspapers were brought up which gave call for revolutionary activity. What were the newspapers, journals and novels? Few were Atma Shakti, Sarathi, Vijoli, Bandi Jeevan by Sachin Sanyal, and Pater Dabi by Sharat Chandra Chatterjee. So these were some of the literature which advocated violence. In Punjab, so there were two belts. One belt was in northwest, that is Punjab, UP, Bihar. Second belt was in Bengal. Eastern region, right? Okay. So here in the Punjab, UP region, there was Hindustan Republican Association, HSRA. So I told already, HSRA. So Hindustan Socialist Republic Association was the revolutionary organization in the Punjab region. Important people were Ram Prasad Bismil, Jogesh Chandra Chatterjee, Sachin Sanyal. Next, we have Kakori robbery. So these revolutionaries, apart from violent activities, they were involved in robbery and dacoities as well. They dacoited money from British as well as rich money lenders. Okay. So Kakori, what happens? Kakori, there what they do, they stop a train and loot the money from the train. So because of which many people were hanged and some of them were transported for life. I already told what is transported for life. It is a punishment. It is a form of punishment in which you would be sent to a far away place from where you cannot return. Okay. Next, Hindustan Socialist Republic Organization. We look about this organization. So here, this first it will be HRA. It won't be HSRA first. First it will be HRA, Hindustan Republic Association. These people meet at, the members of this HRA meet at Firoz Shah Kotla in Delhi, and they changed the name to Hindustan Socialist Republic Organization. The important participants were Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, Bhagwati Charan Hora. These were some of the important leaders. So here one incident happens. What happens? One police constable will be there. His name is Saunders. So what happens? During the Simon Commission. So 1927, one commission comes. I'll discuss about it. 1927, and British Commission comes to India. That commission's name is Simon Commission. So there will be lot of protest against this commission. During the protest, Lala Rajpat Rai in Punjab would be beaten up. He would be beaten up by police, because of which he will die. So what happens? Because he was Lala Rajpat Rai, who was a big leader, very big leader in Punjab, because he was killed at the hands of British. This Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru kill the Saunders, who was responsible for the lathi charge. They kill Saunders. Okay. So even Chandrasekhar Azad was also involved. Okay. Next activity by this HSRA is bomb in Central Legislative Assembly. Central Legislative Assembly is similar to today's Parliament. What happens? So this HSRA people, they didn't want violence, so they changed their goal from violence to mass-based activity, people-based activity. So what they do, they throw, in order to make people know, in order to tell people that they are not for violence, they are for peace. So what they do, they throw a bomb in Parliament. That is today's Parliament, back then Central Legislative Assembly. So why do they throw the bomb? British will be passing two bills, Public Safety Bill and Trade Union Bill. These two bills will be bad bills. In order to protest against this bill, they throw a bomb in the Central Legislative Assembly, that is Parliament, and get arrested. They get arrested. So what was the action by the British? What action did the British take against the revolutionaries? So Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru were. So this case, Saunders murder case, is called Lahore conspiracy case. Lahore conspiracy case. So Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru, all the three of them will be tried and hanged. They would be hanged. Okay. And also this Chandrasekhar Azad also gets killed. He also gets killed in a park. He would be shot. He would shoot himself dead. He would kill himself. Okay. So in Bengal, next, in Bengal, what was the revolutionary activities? Till now we talk about the revolutionary activities in Punjab, UP and Bihar. Now we will talk about Bengal. So in Bengal, actually there was lot of underground activities. So these revolutionaries did not take up any open on-ground activity, rather underground activity, that is secret activity. Okay. So here, see Chittaranjan Das and was a famous leader, and also J.M. Sengupta are famous leaders. So what happens here? The revolutionary activity will be in two groups. In Punjab it was one group, HSRA, here two group. One group was headed by Anushilan group. Anushilan, I told in the first phase, of revolutionary activity, there will be Anushilan Samiti, which would give rise to Yugantar. So Anushilan Samiti and Yugantar Samiti. So Anushilan Samiti was headed by J.M. Sengupta, Yugantar by Subhash Chandra Bose. Okay. Yugantar group was headed by Subhash Chandra Bose. Okay. So they also kill many. British officials. They kill British officials. Okay. Chittagong Armory raid. So in Chittagong, today it is a place in Bangladesh. Back then it was part of India, whole Bengal. So here the most important person is Surya Sen. So what does he do? He was the secretary of Chittagong District Congress Committee. He was the secretary. So he actually tries to organize a rebellion. Rebellion means revolt against the British. So he tries to organize a revolt against the British. So what does he do? He builds his own people. He builds his own organization, and so they build their own organization, and they go and seize Chittagong Armory. So what is armory? So in armory is one place where weapons would be stored. Weapons, guns, bullets and other things would be stored. Right? Okay. So they go and raid this armory and take away government weapons. Okay. Government weapons. So what are the aspects of new revolutionary movement? New phase of revolutionary movement. So here the new aspect is in Bengal, lot of women takes part in revolutionary activity. In Punjab, no women. In Bengal, lot of women takes part in your revolutionary activity. Few of the women were Preeti Lata, Odedar, Kalpana Dutt, Santi Ghosh, Suniti Chaudhary and Bina Das. So these five were the women who were participating in revolutionary activities. So here the new aspect was earlier in the first phase first phase, that is after Swadeshi movement. After Swadeshi movement, they emphasized on individual action. Individually, they go and kill British people. So in the second phase, they emphasize, second phase 1920s, after non-cooperation movement, they emphasize on group action. They emphasize on group action. This is the difference. This is a difference between first and second phase. So there were certain drawbacks. So they did not have any proper goal, no socio-economic goal. That was one of the drawback. Okay, and also they did not support the Muslim peasantry against the zamindars. They did not support the cause of Muslim peasantry. So what was the official reaction to these revolutionaries? How did the British react to these revolutionaries? So initially the government fears these people. The government gets feared. Later they will do lot of repression. They do lot of repression against the. They do lot of repression against the revolutionaries. So they arrest lot of people. Even Jawaharlal Nehru would be arrested. So this movement ends because of official repression. British repress the movement. They arrest, they hang, they transport for life, they punish, they dismiss. Like they do take a lot of activities, and they take lot of decisions, because of which this revolutionary activities decline. Ideological rethinking. So at the end of the revolutionary movement, these people move towards from violence. So earlier they were pursuing violence. They later talk about peace. So they don't support violence in the later life. So here what happens? Bhagat Singh and his supporters, they support communist principles. Communist means class approach to society. So I'll discuss it in in economy. So class approach, like upper class, middle class, lower class. So this Bhagat Singh and group, they support communist principles. That is, all persons should be equal. All should be economically equal. Everybody's income should be same. That is one of the goals by Bhagat Singh's HRA. Okay. So this HRA actually has one journal. The journal name is Revolutionary. HRA's journal's name is Revolutionary. So they propose many things. They propose nationalization of railway. Railway was earlier under control of private enterprise. So Bhagat Singh group emphasizes that railways should be nationalized. Likewise, many industries should be nationalized. So later on, they advocate peace, or they advocate people to take part in open movement. Open movement, that is movement under Gandhiji and national leaders. You take part in this movement. Don't do revolutionary activity. Don't take up violence. This was advocated by the leaders. Some books written by them. First book is Philosophy of Bomb, written by Bhagwati Charan Ora. This book is important. Philosophy of Bomb. So Bhagat Singh sets up the organization. Bhagat Singh would have an organization that is open movement organization. So this HSRA, Bhagat Singh is involved with two organizations. One organization is HSRA. So this organization is for revolutionary activity, that is violence. And another organization, Punjab Naujawan Bharat Sabha. This is open movement. Open movement is no violence, just like Congress. It was just like Congress. And Bhagat Singh also sets up, Bhagat Singh and Sukhdev also set up Lahore Students Union. Lahore Students Union. Okay. So, so later on, they take up to peace. They give up violence. Okay. Their goal is to end exploitation of man by man. They say that a man today, one person is exploiting another person. This should end. This should end. This was the overall goal of revolutionaries. So Bhagat Singh pursued socialism and Marxism. Socialism and Marxism, and he supported workers' cause. That is, workers. He supported the workers' rights against the industry owners. So Bhagat Singh was also secular. He did not believe in Hindu-Muslim ideology. That is, no communalism. Rather, both are same. He was secular. Actually, he would be an atheist. That is, he doesn't believe in God. Okay. Next, we'll talk about Simon Commission and the Nehru Report. So, Nehru Report, this is not Jawaharlal Nehru, rather it's his father. His father, Motilal Nehru. Nehru Report, Motilal Nehru. So, this is the unofficial name of the commission. So, this name is the unofficial name. The official name is Indian Statutory Commission. The official name is Indian Statutory Commission. So, why this commission was appointed? So, we have to look at Montague-Chelmsford reforms. Montague-Chelmsford reforms given in 1919. So, this reforms says that within 10 years of this reform, that is within 10 years, that is by 1929, we are going to review this act. Whether this act is successful or not. So, in order to review this, Simon Commission comes. Indian Statutory Commission. Okay. So, before that, there will be, before Simon Commission, there are two committees, important committees. One is Lee Commission, three commissions actually, three commissions before Simon Commission. One is Lee Committee. This Lee Committee talks about civil services. It is a royal commission on statutory civil services. You just remember, Lee Committee is a royal committee on civil services. So, all the IAS and IPS, these committees, about this committee spoke about the civil services. Civil services, that is IAS, IPS today. So, Lee Committee on Civil Services. After this, we have Mudiman Commission in 1924. So, this committee talks about the working of Constitution, working of 1919 Act, how this Act is working, and is it beneficial to minorities? Idu ಮುಸಲ್ಮಾನರಿಗೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಈ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ ಅಂತ Mudiman Commission talks about that. Okay. And it gives a overall picture about this 1919 Montague-Chelmsford reforms. Next, Lilintho Commission. This commission talks about agriculture, Indian agriculture. It is also a British commission, Lilintho Commission. Lilintho, L-I-N-L-I-T-H-G-O-W. L-I-N-L-I-T-H-G-O-W. Lilintho Commission, it is a Royal Commission on Agriculture. So, it talks about Indian crops, Indian cattle and many other things. Okay. So, now comes Indian Statutory Commission, that is Simon Commission. It comes to review the 1919 Act. So, why it is called Simon Commission? Because the chairman of the commission's name is The commission chairman name is John Simon. John Simon. Based on his name, the commission is called Simon Commission. So what is India respond? Indians response to Simon Commission. How does India respond? So there was lot of protest. There was lot of protest against the Simon Commission. Lot of protest against the Simon Commission. So why does there will be lot of protest against the Simon Commission? Because in this commission, all the members will be English members. All the members will be English members. There will be no Indians. No Indians. So Indians protest that you people are reviewing our constitution, whereas Indians are not given a chance to review their own constitution. British are deciding what is good, what is bad for India. It is our right to decide what is good, what is bad for us. So that is the major criticism. So even Congress boycotts. Congress boycotts the Simon Commission. Next, Muslim League, even the liberals of Hindu Mahasabha, liberals. There will be one Hindu Mahasabha, Hindu organization. They also boycott this. Even Muslim League under Jinnah, they also boycott it. So what is the people's response? People's response. There will be countrywide strike when Simon Commission arrives in India. There will be strike, hartal. So people shout, Simon, go back. Simon, go back. Okay. So here the leaders of this strike is Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose. Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose emerge as the leaders of anti-Simon Commission protest. Anti-Simon Commission protest. Who are the leaders? It is the Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose. Okay. So here Ambedkar's response. How does Ambedkar respond to Simon Commission? Actually, Ambedkar doesn't boycott the Simon Commission. Rather, he goes and appears before the committee, appears before the commission on behalf of depressed classes. On behalf of depressed classes, he goes and appears before the Simon Commission. So he goes on behalf of depressed classes. One Samit Sabha will be there. Bahishkrit Hitakarni Sabha. Bahishkrit Hitakarni Sabha. So he represents Bahishkrit Hitakarni Sabha in front of Simon Commission, and they demand universal adult franchise. Universal adult franchise means voting for all, voting rights for all. Earlier Dalits were not given voting power. So the Ambedkar demand Dalits should be given voting power. He demands it in front of the Simon Commission. So, and also he says that the depressed classes are actually more poor. They are socially backward. They are educationally backward. There is no education for them. There is no social progress for them. So you have to give us separate electorate. Separate electorate I have discussed yesterday. So you give us either reservation of seats. If there are suppose 100 seats in the Indian Parliament, Central Legislative Assembly, you give, that is Dalits, you give us at least 30 seats or 25 seats or 20 seats. You either give us reservation or set up separate electorate. Separate electorate, that is only Dalits can stand in that election and only Dalit voters can vote. So this is what is meant by separate electorate. So these were the demands. These were the demands given by the demands made by the Ambedkar. Okay, police repression. So protesters, whoever were there, they were repressed by the police. So there will be lot of beating. Even Lala Lajpat Rai would be beaten up and he dies because of it. So what is the impact of appointment of Simon Commission on Indian national movement? So here what happens? The radical forces. Radical forces means extreme forces, extremist forces. That is socialists. Socialists were considered as radicalists. So these socialists demand that we want complete independence, no negotiation with the British. We are not going to talk with the British, rather give us independence. This was said by the socialists, said by the socialists. And also one person called Lord Birkenhead. Lord Birkenhead. So this person, Lord Birkenhead, will be Secretary of State. Secretary of State. He would be a member of British Cabinet. British Cabinet Secretary. A person from British Cabinet will become a Secretary of State for India. This person will look over Indian affairs. Indian affairs. That is Indian rule. So this person, Secretary of State, Lord Birkenhead. Lord Birkenhead challenge Indians. He challenges Indians. Whether can you make your own constitution? So this what are the recommendations of the Simon Commission? What are the recommendations? So the Simon Commission publishes 2 volumes of report. 2 reports were published by the Simon Commission. It recommends abolition of diarchy. Diarchy means to rule. So governor will be, if a state is there, province is there, province is similar to today's state. So governor will be ruling some areas and ministers will be ruling other areas. I told about it yesterday. So he said that this system is not good. You have to abolish it. And he says that you have to give representative government. That is, Indians should be represented by Indians only, Indian leaders only. So he calls for giving representative government. Representative, that is, people are represented by their leaders. So these were some of the recommendations made by the Simon Commission. And also he says he rejects parliamentary responsibility. That is, the executive government is not responsible. It is not responsible to Parliament. So this scheme was supported. That is, the government should not be responsible to the Legislative Assembly or Parliament. That is what said by the Simon Commission. Simon Commission. And also he says there should be separate electorate for Muslims and Hindus. So earlier already separate electorate was there. He says you should continue the separate electorate. It is doing good. Along with that, he calls for formation of a federation. Formation of a federation of Indian states. What do you mean by federation? Suppose you have India like this. Suppose you have India like this. So there were 2 kinds of states. One state is princely state. Another is the British provinces. Some provinces like Madras province, Bombay province, United province, and also Bengal. These were ruled directly by the British. However, there were many kingdoms. Kingdoms were also there. Rajas were ruling. These were princely states. Princely states. So this Simon Commission says you should include both the British territories and also princely states into one federation. They should be included into one country. That is also what is said by the Simon Commission. So Nehru Report. We will talk about Nehru Report. Nehru Report, Motilal Nehru, not Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay. So they try to draft a constitution. So they tried to draft a constitution. So the constitution committee was, it included Tej Bahadur Sapru, Subhash Chandra Bose and many others. So they demand dominion status. Dominion status means what? Dominion status, India would be majorly under control of Indians, However, some external force, like externally it will be ruled by England. Dominion, like India would have suzerainty, that is, India says that it is headed by England, but actual control is exercised by Indians. British would just overlook, this is what is meant by dominion status. So they demand dominion status. So what are the main recommendations? One is dominion status. They demand dominion status, and they reject separate electorates. No separate electorate for Muslims or depressed classes. Rather, there will be one proper electorate. Okay. Next, they talk about linguistic provinces. That is, suppose India is there. India would be divided into many states based on language. That is, just like today how states are divided based on language. Karnataka for Kannadigas, Tamil Nadu, Tamilians, like that. This Nehru report also says India should be divided based on languages. Next, the Nehru report also gives 19 fundamental rights. It talks about 19 fundamental rights and also universal adult suffrage. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಮತದಾನದ ಹಕ್ಕನ್ನ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನೆಹರು ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಹೇಳ್ತದೆ. And also they talk about responsible government. Responsible government means, that is, government is responsible to people. So if the people don't want, government should step down. How they are responsible to people? They would be responsible to parliament. Okay. So these were some of the recommendations of the Nehru report. Okay. It also says the state should not involve in religion. That is, government should not involve in religion. So what are the responses to Nehru report? Both Hindus Mahasabha and Muslim League, both of them get disappointed. Neither Muslims are satisfied nor Hindus are satisfied by the Nehru report. Okay, so here Muslim League gives one proposal for this what Nehru report. When the Nehru report comes, this Muslim League gives certain recommendations to change the Nehru report. What are the recommendations? It says that so these recommendations were called as Delhi proposals by Muslim League. They say that instead we will hold joint electorate. That is, no separate electorate for Muslims. Separate electorate I have already discussed. So we will, instead of separate electorate, we will have joint electorate, that both Hindus and Muslims can stand for election, and both Hindus and Muslims can vote for the candidates. So we will have that kind of an electorate. However, out of the, suppose 100 seats are there, you should give us some 30 seats reservation. You should give us some 30 seats reservation of seats. So, and also one third, suppose 100 seats are there, 33 seats should be reserved in the parliament for Muslims. Okay, and also they demand new Muslim majority provinces should be set up. Where Sindh, Baluchistan and Northwest Frontier Province. We should set up new states or new provinces. Next, we have the Hindu Mahasabha. What does the Hindu Mahasabha says? They say that they oppose the 14 proposals, Delhi proposals given by whom? Delhi proposals given by Muslim League. The Hindu Mahasabha says these Delhi proposals are not good. We are not going to give reservation, nor we are going to form Muslim majority provinces. majority provinces. There was opposition by both the ends. Okay, because of which the Nehru report, there will be some compromise. So both of them try to arrive at a compromise. However, this compromise did not get succeeded. Okay, so what was the compromise formula? One is joint electorate, no separate electorate for Muslims, rather we will give joint electorate and reserve seats for Muslims where they are in minority. Suppose this province Muslims are less in number, so we will give reservation for them. Suppose this province, if they are more in number, no reservation for them in those areas. That is one thing, joint electorate. And another compromise formula is there will be a unitary state, that is provinces, that is Indian states won't have independent identity. They won't have independent identity, rather India would be one as a whole. These were some of the compromise formulas. However, the Muslim League objects this. They don't agree to this compromise formula. They demand certain amendments. These amendments were proposed by Jinnah. Muhammad Ali Jinnah proposes certain amendments. Okay, so what are the amendments proposed by Jinnah? So this Jinnah's amendments were called Jinnah's 14 points. Jinnah gives 14 points. He wants these 14 points to be included in the Nehru report. So what are the 14 points? Some of the points were residual powers to provinces. Here in the compromise formula, the Hindu Mahasabha had asked for unitary form of government, that is strong center. Strong center should be there, central government should be there. However, this Jinnah says that provinces should have independence. Autonomy, provincial autonomy. And also says that whatever the constitutional amendment that were to be carried out by India, the Muslims should agree to it. Muslim population should agree to it. That is one more demand. And also he asked for reservation for Muslims in where? In services, in government jobs, Muslims should be given reservation. And also he demands reservation in the Central Legislative Assembly, that is that day's parliament. Muslims should be given 1/3 reservation. 1/3 reservation should be given to them. And also he demands separate electorate. Separate electorate was demanded by Jinnah. And also he asked separate province for Muslims in Sindh. So here what happens, this Bombay province was entire one province. Your Sindh was also part of Bombay province. What Jinnah says, Sindh should be separated from Bombay because Sindh is a Muslim majority province. So these were some of the points demanded by Jinnah. So ultimately neither the Muslims get satisfied nor the Hindus get satisfied. This report, Nehru report, was found unsatisfactory. Nobody gets satisfied. Okay, nobody gets satisfied by the Nehru report. Okay, so we'll now talk about CDM. What is CDM? Civil Disobedience Movement. This was started by Mahatma Gandhi. So, Civil Disobedience Movement and Round Table Conference. So, what do you mean by Civil Disobedience Movement? Civil Disobedience Movement means, so British will have certain laws or rules. which were implemented in India, So Indians break these rules, they break these laws, they break these rules. That is what is meant by civil. Civil means law, disobedience, breaking of the law, movement. So that is what is meant by civil disobedience movement. Run up to CDM. That is how did this civil disobedience movement come to take place? What was the reason? So in 1928, what happens? This Nehru Report would come to picture. Nehru Report, I told about it in the last chapter. This comes into being. This was published in 1928. 1928, Nehru Report would be published. However, many sections express their dissatisfaction. Many sections of population would be dissatisfied. They would be dissatisfied by the Nehru Report. They won't be satisfied by the Nehru Report. Okay. So, what happens if the demands? So what the Congress says, it gives this Nehru Report to the government and says that if you don't accept this report within 1 year, we are going to launch a popular movement, civil disobedience movement would be launched. Okay. So if the government doesn't accept this report, we are going to not only launch a movement but demand complete independence. So earlier they were demanding only dominion status. Earlier demand was only for dominion status. I already told what is dominion status. Major control would be by Indians, only overlooking by British, and that means political control. Rajakiya vada control would be by Indians, but overall for namesake India would be ruled by British. That would be that is what is meant by dominion status. So instead of dominion status, if you don't accept the Nehru Report, we are going to demand complete independence. We will demand complete independence. Okay. So political activity during 1929. 1929, what were the major incidents? Why did CDM take place? So Gandhiji travelled a lot in 1929. In 1929, he travels a lot and asks the youth. He asks the youth saying that prepare for a big movement which would be started. He prepares the youth for a big movement, that is civil disobedience movement. For civil disobedience movement, he prepares the youth. Okay, he will travel a lot. And also this Congress working committee starts burning of foreign cloth. So a lot of foreign cloth, British cloth would be took into one place and they would be burnt. That also takes place in 1929. And also one more incident in 1929, Meerut conspiracy case. So whenever Meerut conspiracy case comes, it is what? This case involved by communists. Communists get involved in this case. There will be a conspiracy to overthrow the British, to send the British out of India. This conspiracy was called Meerut conspiracy case. It was done by the communists. Irwin's declaration. Who is Irwin? Irwin would be Viceroy in India. So he makes the declaration on December 31st, 1929. Okay. So what happens? what happens? What does he say in the declaration? What does Irwin say in the declaration? He says that Britain wants India's faith in British policies. He says Indians are not believing in British policy, but we want Indians to believe in our policies. And he reiterates that we have already declared in 1917, one declaration would be made, Montague Declaration, right? So in Montague Declaration, what he says, we will give self-government to Indians. So this self-government statement would be reiterated, told again by the Irwin, that we are going to give you dominion status. We are going to give you dominion status. So, however, he doesn't say when would dominion status be given. Dominion status na India ge yavag kodtivi anta helodilla yaru Irwin doesn't say. So next comes Delhi Manifesto. So when it comes to Delhi, there will be many Delhi programs, like Delhi Pact is there, Delhi Proposals is there, Delhi Manifesto is there. Many things are there. Please don't confuse. Please study this Delhi programs, various Delhi programs very carefully, because they are going to be asked in the exam. Okay, so Lord Irwin also says, in order to talk about dominion status, we are going to start a round table conference. Round table conference. What do you mean by round table conference? Would it be the conference carried in a round table? Around a round table? No. Round table conference means all the parties, Hindus, Muslims, liberals, Congress, British, industry, Sikhs, depressed classes, princely states, whoever are there, India, everybody's opinion will be taken in order to form next change. What is the next change that should be made in India's constitution? So for that, they say round table conference. So against this Irwin declaration, Congress issues Delhi Manifesto. Delhi Proposals was issued by Muslim League. Delhi proposals against Nehru Report, whereas Delhi Manifesto against Irwin's declaration. So, what are the demands of Delhi Manifesto? What are the Delhi demands? So, first demand by Congress is dominion status should be immediately granted. Immediately give us dominion status. That is the first demand. Next, in the conference, in the round table conference, majority of the people should be from Congress. Congress should be the majority representation. Next, the third demand is political prisoners. Rajakiya Kaidigalu. Andre, all this Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, Sukhdev, and also Congress people, Jawaharlal Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose, would be arrested. They should be forgiven. These were the three demands made by Congress in Delhi Manifesto. These were the three demands. Okay. So, Viceroy Irwin rejects the Delhi Manifesto. So, suppose you go to Mysore. In Mysore, there is a Irwin Road. Irwin Road is there. It is named after Viceroy Irwin. Okay. So, Viceroy Irwin rejects the Delhi Manifesto. He doesn't say anything. Next, because of this, Congress gets angry. They declare Purna Swaraj. So, earlier they would say, we are okay with dominion status if you give it to us to now itself. But when they were not given, Lahore Congress had Congress session in Lahore, they declare Purna Swaraj, complete independence. Okay, so So in the Lahore Congress, who will be the president? Jawaharlal Nehru is the president of Lahore Congress. Lahore Congress. So, Nehru says that, Nehru makes a statement that we want complete independence. He declares Purna Swaraj. He declares Purna Swaraj and says that we have an open conspiracy. We have an open conspiracy to free this country, and we must work together. We must work together, and we must work towards complete independence. That was said by whom? Jawaharlal Nehru. So in the Lahore Congress, many decisions would be made. Many decisions would be made. What are the decisions? One, round table conferences should be boycotted. Congress is not going to attend the round table conference. RTC means round table conference. Next, complete independence was demanded. Complete independence was demanded. Next, a Congress Working Committee was authorized to. Congress Working Committee can launch CDM, Civil Disobedience Movement, at any time. That power was given to Congress Working Committee. Next, January 26th, 1930 was selected as first Independence Day. First Independence Day. Okay. So on December 31st, next January 26th, 1930. January 26th, 1930, the people would read Independence Pledge. First Independence Day. First Independence Day, not 1947. January 26, 1930 was proposed by Congress. Okay. So people on that day, on January 26, what they do? Indians read a Independence Pledge. Independence Pledge would be read out. What is the Independence Pledge? So Indians. It is a right of Indians to have freedom. Freedom is our birthright. So said by Bal Gangadhar Tilak. So similarly, Indians read that, Indians in the pledge, they read that freedom is our birthright. Freedom is our birthright. And we want complete independence. So we want complete independence against the British. That is the second statement. And British has ruined us economically. They have exploited us economically. ಆರ್ಥಿಕವಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಸಂಕಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಗುರಿಪಡಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರು. So our talent is destroyed. ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್ ಗಳ ಹಾಳಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. So ಇದರಿಂದ we are not going to submit to the British. ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರನ್ನಗೆ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಒಪ್ಪಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ. We are going to protest against the British. So these were the some of the points of the Independence Pledge. Okay. Next, we will talk about civil disobedience movement, salt satyagraha, and other approaches, other upsurges. Gandhi's 11 demands. Gandhi makes 11 demands to whom? To the Viceroy. What are the 11 demands to the government? So he says, one, reduce expenditure on army. Army was too much money was spent by the British on army. So Gandhi says reduce expenditure on army by 50% and totally ban alcohol. Ban on alcohol. Third. So Arms Act should be changed. So that is not important. Release political prisoners. Politically who are imprisoned, they should be released. That is also said by Gandhiji in the 11 points. And he also economic points. What does he say? Introduce textile protection. That is Indian textiles should be protected. Against whom? Against British textiles, Indian textiles should be protected. And also he demands land revenue should be reduced by 50%. That is also demanded by Gandhiji. Also he says salt tax should be abolished. Tax on salt, earlier there was tax on salt, that should be abolished. Okay, so here Gandhi, because of these 11 demands, he gives to the Viceroy. However, Viceroy doesn't respond to Gandhi. So Gandhi starts Dandi March. Very, very important. 1930. So why salt? Why salt was chosen as the formula? Why salt? Because salt was used by poor and rich, Hindus and Muslims, upper caste and lower caste. So everybody used salt, right? So if we use salt as a formula, it will bring all people, man and woman, everybody uses salt. If we use salt as a formula, everybody will get involved in the movement, That is why salt was chosen as a formula. So Dandi March. So this starts on March 12th, 1930. March 12th, 1930. From where does it start? Starts from Sabarmati Ashram, Gujarat. How many people march in the Dandi March? Totally 78 people. It is important in your FDA and SDA exams. They are going to ask it, though not at UPSC. Okay, so from Sabarmati Ashram, where is Sabarmati Ashram? It is in Ahmedabad. It is there. So from there he marches to Dandi. Dandi is also in Gujarat. So he marches 240 miles. So this converted into kilometers is, so 240 into 1.65. Just calculate, you will get the kilometers. It is approximately 380 or 390 kilometers. So Gandhi marches for 390 kilometers. He walks barefoot. He walks through Gujarat and produces salt. He produces salt because, why salt? Because British were taxing on salt. They were imposing tax on salt. He produces the salt and consumes it, saying that British cannot tax the salt because it is given to us by nature. Nature gives it to us. Okay. So Gandhi gives certain directions. What are the directions? Civil disobedience against salt law. Salt law should be broken. Foreign liquor should be picketed. Wherever foreign liquor is sold, there picketing should take place. Picketing, I have already told what it is. Next, you should not pay taxes. Lawyers should not attend courts. Government servants can resign from their post. These were some of the points given by Gandhiji. So, spread of salt law disobedience. How this salt law disobedience spreads across the country. Okay. So, Nehru, what happens? After the Dandi? Gandhiji says, we are going to raid the Darasana salt works. There will be a British company manufacturing salt called Darasana Salt Works. So if you watch this movie, Gandhi was a movie. Who has acted in Gandhi movie as king, who has acted as Gandhi's part? In Gandhi's part, it is Ben Kingsley. Ben Kingsley. In some general knowledge question, they might ask. Ben Kingsley acted as Gandhi in the movie Gandhi, released in 1980s. Who directed the movie? Richard Attenborough. Richard Attenborough. He passed away some 2-3 years back. Richard Attenborough has directed the movie. One of the best movies. So whenever you get time, you can watch this movie. It is one of the best movies in India's history. Okay. So in that movie, they will show how Gandhi plans to attack Darasana Salt Works. Darasana Salt Works. When Gandhi says that, Gandhi would be immediately arrested. He would be arrested. So what happens? Immediately CWC, which will have authority. What is CWC? Congress Working Committee. Immediately it says start right, no payment of revenue. We are not going to pay revenue. First no, civil disobedience. Second disobedience, we are not going to pay Chowkidara tax. Chowkidara tax would not be paid. Second civil disobedience. Next, we will violate forest laws. Forest laws, what are the forest laws? Earlier, Indians could not go and collect timber or any other forest producers. So that could not be taken by Indians. So this was the rule imposed by British. So the CW says that we are going to not follow the forest law as well. 3 points. Okay. Satyagraha at different places. Different places Satyagraha spreads. So in Tamil Nadu, C. Rajgopalachari heads the revolt in Tamil Nadu. So he marches from Tiruchirappalli to Vedaranyam. Tiruchirappalli to Vedaranyam. Important. He marches from there. So here you have in Bangalore, Rajaji Nagar. On whose name it is named? It is C. Rajgopalachari. So he marches from Tiruchirappalli to Vedaranyam and breaks the salt law. Salt law was break and liquor shops were picketed. Next, Malabar. In Malabar, what happens? Vaikom Satyagraha takes place. Vaikom Satyagraha in Malabar during the civil disobedience movement. Andhra region. In Andhra region, instead of instead of salt law, there will be Sibirams. So they will ask, where were Sibirams set up? Shibira. In Kannada it is called Shibira. They set up Sibirams in Andhra Pradesh. In Andhra Pradesh, they set up Sibirams. It is like camps. Sibirams means camps. Next, this takes place in Odisha also. In Assam. In Assam, what is the main issue during CDM? Cunningham Circular. Cunningham Circular. So it is a major issue. It is a very, very important topic. Cunningham Circular asked in many exams. So in Cunningham Circular, what happens? Students were banned from entering into politics. Against this Cunningham Circular, lot of protest takes place. Cunningham Circular spelling Cunningham. Cunningham Circular. In Bengal, what happens? There will be election in Bengal. Kolkata Corporation election takes place. Here in Bengal, lot of violence in Bengal, and also Chittagong Armory raid. Chittagong Armory raid takes place. Okay. So in Bihar, what happens? In Bihar, since it is a landlocked state, there is no provision to make salt. So what they do? They start No Chowkidara campaign. No Chowkidara tax campaign. What is Chowkidara? So every village have one chowki. So in chowki, it is like today you see police chowkis. Like that, every villages will have one chowkis. It will have a chowkidara. Chowkidara. So he is like a village police. So he is like a village police. So in order to maintain this chowkidara, people in the villages would be taxed. They would be taxed. So in Bihar, what happens? We are not going to pay the chowkidara tax. No chowkidara tax campaign. Okay, so even in tribal areas, Chota Nagpur Plateau, there also civil disobedience movement spreads. Civil disobedience movement spreads. Peshawar, very important. In Peshawar, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, also called as Frontier Gandhi or Badshah Khan. So his newspaper name is Puktun, Phuktun. So his organization name is Kudai Khidmatkars. Very important, because apart from Nelson Mandela, if any other foreigner is awarded Bharat Ratna, it is Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan in India. Very, very important person. Okay, actually he wanted to join India after partition, but unfortunately this province, wherever he was, it was actually far from India, so it came under Pakistan. Okay, so Sholapur also, there will be lot of protest. Darasana, I already said, Gandhiji wanted to raid Darasana salt work. So when Gandhiji gets arrested, it is actually Sarojini Naidu and Manilal. Who is Manilal? Manilal, Gandhiji's son. And Sarojini Naidu, they go and raid the Darasana salt work and get arrested there. Two people will get killed. Lot of protest. Okay, so in Maharashtra is also it takes place. UP also, UP there will be no rent campaign, no land rent campaign in Uttar Pradesh. Okay, so in Manipur and Nagaland. So this person is very, very important. UPSC's favorite, Rani Gaidinilu, Gaidinliu, Gaidinilu. So Rani Gaidinilu, Gaidinliu. So she, at the age of 13 years, she opposes the British. Rani Gaidinilu. She will be arrested. Such a small girl will be arrested by the British. So forms of mobilization. How people would be gathered together. There will be Prabhat Fairies, Vanar Senas, small children will come together and they protest the British. So if male children, boys come together, it is called Vanar Senas. If girls comes together and protest against the British, it is Manjari Sena. Manjari means cat. Vanar means monkey. So Vanar Sena, Monkey Sena, they protest against the British. Small kids also protest. Impact of agitation. What was the impact of agitation against the British? So foreign cloth import reduces. Liquor and land revenue reduces. Extent of mass participation. Who all participated? Several sections participate. Most importantly, women were at the forefront. Women were seen picketing. They involved in picketing. Already told what is picketing. I am going to repeat again. Suppose there is a shop selling foreign good or liquor. So these women or freedom protesters come and sit in front of this shop. Like this, and they protest. So whoever wants to go to the shop and buy, they will be resisted or embarrassed. So they won't go and buy the liquor or foreign good. So this is what is called as picketing. I have repeated it again. Okay, students were at the forefront. Students protest a lot. Muslims. So there was actually no participation of Muslims. There was only few Muslims who participated. Merchants and traders, merchant and traders, they participate. Traders and merchants participate. Tribals also participate. I already said in Chota Nagpur Plateau, tribals participated. Workers participate. So what is the government's response? Government's response. Government would be in dilemma. What do you mean by dilemma? Two actions are there. Two actions are there. Whether to choose this action or this action. If you are in this state, you are to be in dilemma. So government will be in dilemma. So if they repress, the movement, Congress would say that you are abolishing, you are taking away our rights. If they don't repress, Congress says we won against the British. So this was the dilemma. So what happens once but later on British repress the movement, Gandhiji gets arrested, civil liberties, Nagarika Hakkugulana stop ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, and press was gagged. Gagged means press was restricted. It was not able to publish whatever was there. Okay, so here what happens? One pact takes place. So here Gandhi and Irvin, one pact takes place. So what is the pact? Because in the first round table conference, Indians would have, Congress would not have participated. Second round conference. So in the first round table conference, they realize that what happens if Indians don't participate? If Congress doesn't participate, it is meaningless. So second round table conference, British at any cost wants Congress to participate. That is why Gandhi and Irvin make a pact. So Gandhi, see, this pact is also called Delhi Pact. So Delhi Manifesto, Delhi Proposals, Delhi Pact, so many Delhi things are there. So you have to know what is what, or else you will get confused. Delhi Proposals by Muslim League, Delhi Manifesto by Congress, Delhi Pact between Gandhi and Irvin. Okay, so what was the so here British agreed to release all political prisoners. British agreed to release all political prisoners, restore all land. British would have taken over lot of land from the protesters, that would be restored. Fines, all the fines that were imposed on the protesters, that will also be not collected. Government servants who resigned, they would be given job again. So many other provisions were signed by the British. So Gandhi says that in turn we are going to stop the civil disobedience movement. So this is what said by Gandhiji. So evaluation of CDM. So this is before Gandhi-Irvin Pact. Actually CDM happens in two phases. Before Gandhi-Irvin Pact, it is first phase. After second round table conference, when Gandhiji returns from England, second round table conference, second phase of CDM takes place. However, second CDM is not so important. It is not so important. Okay, so is this a retreat? So why did Gandhi agree to stop CDM? Is it a defeat for the Congress? Is it a defeat for the Congress? So here the author says that it is not a defeat, rather mass movements are necessarily short-lived. That is, masses, people cannot go on protesting. They will have their limitations. They have to go and work and earn their bread. So mass movements are short-lived. They cannot go on forever. And also masses cannot sacrifice indefinitely. They cannot sacrifice indefinitely for the nationalism. Okay. So it is not a retreat, rather it was a clever decision. It was a clever decision. Comparison to non-cooperation movement. With respect to non-cooperation movement, what is the difference? Here non-cooperation movement, complete independence was not asked. Here they asked complete independence. So non-cooperation movement, there was no violation of law. Law violation takes place at the end. Here violation of law starts from the beginning. Next, next here Muslims don't participate in non-cooperation movement. Muslims participate. Okay, so these were some of the changes. Next we will talk about Karachi session. Karachi session. See, here one point is very important. Before Karachi session, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru. So these three people would be hanged. So March 23, 1931, these three patriots, greatest persons of India, would be hanged by the British. However, when Karachi is today in Pakistan. So when Gandhiji goes to attend this Karachi session, so because these three people belong to Punjab region. So Punjab, actually 75% of Punjab today is in Pakistan. What India has is just 25% of Punjab, right? So throughout, when Gandhi goes to Karachi session, there will be lot of protest against Gandhi. Protest, they show black flag to Gandhi. Why? Because in the Irwin Delhi Pact, Gandhi Irwin Pact, Gandhi fails to give community pardoning for these three people, because these three people would be convicted of violence for murder. So political prisoners, as per Delhi Pact, political prisoners would be released, right? But not those political prisoners who would have done violence, who are convicted of violence, who would have killed other persons. They would not be given maafi. So these three people would be hanged. So in turn, there will be lot of black flag protest. So Congress resolution at Karachi. What is the Congress resolution? So Delhi Pact was accepted. Gandhi Irwin Pact was accepted. Purna Swaraj was reiterated. They say we want Purna Swaraj. Next, a resolution, very important, a resolution on fundamental rights. Fundamental rights, it doesn't come in 1950. 1950, your Republic Day, that is when Constitution comes, fundamental rights don't come then. Actually, even in Karachi session, there is a mention of fundamental rights. For that matter, even in your Nehru Report, there is a mention of fundamental rights. So fundamental rights, Karachi session, they ask for free speech, free press, right to form association, right to assemble, universal adult franchise, and many other fundamental rights. And also here one more important point, National Economic Program in Karachi session. They ask for National Economic Program. What is National Economic Program? Reduction in rent and revenue. Relief from agricultural debt. Better working conditions, and right to form trade unions. These are some of the points, some of the Congress resolution at Karachi. Next, we will talk about RTC, Round Table Conference. 3 round table conferences take place. One in 1930, another in 1931, another in 1932. 3 years. 1930, 31, 32. The years are important. So they are going to ask, when did the first round table conference take place? So okay. So here in the first round table conference, Congress doesn't participate. Who were the participants in the first round table conference? Indian princely states. That is Maharajas from various kingdoms participated, even Mysore under Wadiyars. So they also participate. Who participates on behalf of Mysore? It is Mirza Ismail. Mirza Ismail participates, and Muslim League also participates. Jinnah participates on behalf of Muslim League, many others, and Hindu Sabha will also participate. Parsi women would participate. Depressed classes would have representation. Depressed classes would be represented by B.R. Ambedkar. Justice Party will participate. Anglo-Indians will participate. Many people would participate. However, no outcome. First RTC results in no outcome except certain minor outcomes. Finance and defense safeguards. Finance and defense safeguards, not very important. Next, second RTC. Second RTC takes place. Congress participates because of this act, Delhi Pact, Gandhi Irwin Pact. So Congress sends only Gandhiji. Gandhiji speaks for Congress at the second round table conference. So here also all the sections whom I mentioned earlier, everybody participate along with Congress. So here what happens, by the second RTC, actually there will be a change in government. The government which convened first RTC would be changed by second RTC, and British would be angered. British would be angered by increased violence. Increased violence. Because of increased violence, British would be angry against the Indians. Okay. So here there will be lot of opposition in British also. In Britain, for example, Winston Churchill opposes talking with with the Indians. So here Gandhiji says that Congress alone represents everybody in India. Everybody in India is represented by Congress. However, the other section, other parties, princely states, women, depressed classes, many other, Hindu Mahasabha, Muslim League, they say Congress alone doesn't represent the entire Indians. So Gandhiji demands there should be a equal relationship between England and India. To now what is happening, England is at top, India is at below, England is ruling India. Rather, we want a relationship where India and England are equal. India and England are equal. So here what happens in this pact, they try to allow separate electorate for depressed classes, SCs, STs today. So here they try to give separate electorate for depressed classes. Gandhi opposes this. Gandhi says no separate electorate for depressed classes. No separate electorate for depressed classes. So this pact is called Minorities Pact. Minorities Pact. What is Minorities Pact? Separate electorate. Just like earlier, Muslims would be having separate electorate. Here, not only Muslims, separate electorate would also be for Muslims, depressed classes, Christians, Sikhs, many persons. So this entire thing came to be called as Minorities Pact. Minorities Pact. Okay. So next, so what was the outcome? So there was no agreement. So what happens? One decision is Northwest Frontier Province would be created. So Sindh and NFWP today in Northwest Pakistan, that would be created as a separate province, and Sindh would be created as a separate province. Today it is out of India. So these two provinces would be created. That was one outcome. And also another outcome is So, there are some outcomes not very important from exam perspective. They say we are going to set up a Indian Consultative Committee. So, we are going to consult Indians whenever there is a issue. That is also not very important. Third roundtable conference, not many people participate. Congress doesn't participate. I said CDM, second phase of CDM takes place when Gandhiji returns from England. So, during the truce period, so when Gandhiji was in England, what was happening in those months? Some 7 to 8 months. What was happening in India? So, Congress was demanding rent reduction, and there were some agitations here and there. There were some agitations. Okay, so but no major upsurge, no major change government attitude after second RTC. So here British in Delhi Pact, they saw Congress as equal. So Gandhiji and Irwin sat on the same table. So they were equal. So British got angry. So we treated Congress as equal to us. That is why it backfired. So they want to change it. That is why changed government attitude after second RTC. So some British policy now would be Congress would not be allowed to start any movement. So national movement would not be allowed to go to rural areas. National movement would not be allowed to concentrate in rural areas. So these two were the changed government attitude. Government action. Actually, they impose martial law, military rule. They impose military rule. So there will be lot of repression. Popular response means public response. So immediately people got angry because they are suppressing us. Many people would be jailed. Approximately 80,000 people would be jailed. However, the Gandhi decides to withdraw the movement because the masses were not prepared. The public were not prepared to start the movement, and also the leaders were busy in so many other works. That is why they withdraw the movement. They withdraw the second CDM. Next, Communal Award. I said Minorities Pact takes place after second RTC. This Minorities Pact in turn is also named as Communal Award. So who is the father of Communal Award? So this question is very, very important from your prelims perspective. In any exam, Communal Award was given by British Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald. So he is the father of Communal Award. So when it comes to father of separate electorate, who is the father of separate electorate? It is Lord Minto, who is the viceroy. Minto Morley reforms, Muslims given separate electorate. He is the father of the separate electorate. So Communal Award, it is Ramsay MacDonald. So it gives separate electorate for many sections, and even the reserve seats for depressed classes. So even the depressed classes would be given separate electorate. Would be given depressed classes. However, Gandhiji would be most displeased because he thinks that this is an effort to break Hinduism, Chaturvarna system, Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishnavas, Shudras. So this is an effort. This Communal Award is an effort to break the Hindu Varnashrama system. So he would be in Pune jail, Yerwada jail in Pune today. So there he would be lodged in jail. So what happens? He starts a fast. He starts a fast unto death. Fast unto death against the Communal Award. Communal Award. Okay. However, Gandhiji separate. Did not want separate electorate for depressed classes. So, main provisions of Communal Award. What are the main provisions of Communal Award? Okay. So, here is separate electorate for Muslims, Europeans, Anglo-Indians, depressed classes, women, Marathas and many other sections. And also seats were distributed. Seats in legislature, seats in parliament would be distributed on religion basis. Okay. Next, wherever Muslims are minority, they would be given reservation. Next, depressed classes would get double vote. They would get double vote. Some of these provisions are the main provisions of Communal Award. Congress doesn't take any stand because they want to take the depressed classes into confidence, because they would think Congress would be blamed as Brahmins organization. So they think that if we don't take depressed classes into confidence, it will be very disastrous. So Gandhi, what does Gandhiji do? Gandhiji goes on to fast unto death in Yerwada jail in Pune. So actually Gandhiji says that we have to oppose untouchability against the Shudras. But if we give them separate electorate, they as a section would break away from Hinduism. It is not good for Hinduism. Would be said by whom? Said by Gandhiji. Okay. However, Gandhiji says that we will give them reservation of seats. We don't have any objection. So what is the difference between reservation of seats and separate electorate? Okay. So suppose there are 100 seats in the parliament. If there is separate electorate for 20 seats, so separate electorate for, let's say, 20 seats. So what happens in these 20 seats? Only if it is a separate electorate is given for Muslims, so only Muslims can stand for election. No other person can stand for election, and only Muslims can vote. No other persons can vote. This is what is meant by separate electorate. So what is meant by reservation? Reservation means it is actually something similar yet different. So suppose there are 100 seats and 70 seats for general seats and 30 reserve seats. Today we follow SC/ST reservation for seats. So here 30 seats, what happen? Only suppose reservation of seats for SC and ST. So here SC/ST seats would be reserved for them. Only SC/ST people can stand for election, whereas voting can be done by everyone. Not only SC/ST, everybody can vote. This is the difference between separate electorate and reservation of seats. Gandhiji said, we are okay with this, but not this. Okay. So impact, Pune Pact. In Pune Pact, what happens? Gandhiji and Ambedkar sign a deal. They sign a deal saying that instead of separate electorate, we are going to give reservation of seats. So Pune Pact would be signed between Gandhiji and depressed classes by Ambedkar. So impact of Pune Pact on Dalits. What is the impact? So they became a majoritarian tool, political tool, right? So what happened? Instead of empowering the Dalits, actually Brahmins started, upper caste. Brahmins, by Brahmins I mean upper caste started using the depressed classes as political tool. They will make someone stand in the election from their end, somebody supported by the upper caste, some person, and he would be voted to power. Rather, real representatives of Dalits actually what they get defeated in the elections. Suppose there are two parties. Suppose there is a seat for which two people contest election. Both of them are SC. So one person is real Dalit, that is Dalit who is real representative of the Dalit reader, who is a real representative of actual Dalit people. However, he is also a Dalit, but he is supported by upper caste. So what happens? This person, even if he gets elected, he doesn't support the Dalits. Even though he is a Dalit, he will be used as a political tool. He will be used by this upper caste he will be used as a tool. So this is the difference. Actual Dalits doesn't get representation. Okay. So this was actually the impact, and actually real Dalits did not get representation. Okay. So next, joint electorates and impact on depressed classes. In depressed classes, this is what was the impact. There was no true and effective representation of the depressed classes. Gandhiji's Harijan campaign and thoughts on caste. So immediately after the release, so he gets released from prison in when? 1933. Gandhiji was released from prison, and he immediately establishes All India Untouchability League. All India Untouchability League, AIUL. All India Untouchability League would be established by Gandhiji, and he starts a weekly newspaper called Harijan. So he travels all over the country. This All India Untouchability League is also called as Harijan Sevak Sangh. So he travels all over the country. Gandhiji travels all over the country and encourages his supporters. Even he comes to Bangalore. He will be residing in Kengeri. There he will open a well. ಒಂದು ಬಾವಿಯನ್ನ ತೋಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದಲಿತರಿಗೆ ನೀರನ್ನ ತೆಗೆದು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. So he travels all over the country and asks his supporters to work against untouchability. So what did Gandhiji do? He actually blames the upper caste. Because of the deprivation of the lower caste, because of whatever deprivation, whatever discrimination you have practiced on lower caste, it is because of upper caste. That is why Gandhiji blames the upper caste. That is the first point. Next, he asks for opening of temples for all untouchables. Untouchables would not be allowed inside the temples. So Gandhiji asked for these people should be allowed to temples. Okay. So he emphasizes on humanism. Even if Shastras say practice untouchability, ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಗಳು untouchabilityನ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅಸ್ಪೃಶ್ಯತೆಯನ್ನ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, you need not follow it because it is against humanism, ಮಾನವತೆ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಅಂತ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So here what happens is difference is Gandhiji actually doesn't want this varnashrama system should be abolished. He wants this, he says varnashrama system is good, whereas Ambedkar says this varnashrama system is bad. That is why Ambedkar says caste itself should be abolished. Gandhiji says Caste is not bad, but only untouchability is bad. Untouchability is bad. So, throughout this movement, Gandhiji would be attacked by upper caste. Upper caste people attack Gandhiji, and they Gandhiji calls them Sanatanis. Upper caste would be called as Sanatanis. Orthodox Brahmins were called as Sanatanis by Gandhiji. Okay. So, impact on the campaign. So, this was a movement by Gandhiji to purify Hinduism. So, what now we will talk about some differences between Gandhiji and Ambedkar. So, the difference: one, Gandhiji burns foreign clothes against British. Ambedkar burns Manusmriti against upper caste Hindus. So, religious difference. Next, Gandhiji wanted the power to be taken away from British. Wherever Ambedkar says power should be given by themselves. British should themselves give the power. We should not forcefully take it. Okay. So, Gandhiji did not believe in democracy or parliamentary system, whereas Ambedkar believed in democracy and parliamentary system. Gandhiji wanted stateless society. Gandhiji said there should be no government at all. However, Ambedkar supported that there should be proper government. Ambedkar was very rigid. Rigid means ಅವರು ತುಂಬಾ ಗಟ್ಟಿತನ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಅವರು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಅವರು ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೂ ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. However, Gandhiji was not rigid, he was flexible. Okay. So here Gandhiji emphasizes on Gram Swaraj and Ram Raj. Gram Raj and Ram Raj. That is, every grama should be one Rajya. Every grama, every village, every halli becomes one Rajya, that will be Rama Rajya, said by Gandhiji. However, Ambedkar opposes this, saying that in every village, Dalits are oppressed. Dalits are not allowed inside the village. They are not allowed inside the temples. So, he opposes Grama Rajya. Okay. So, Gandhiji, due to this, actually, Ambedkar opposes Gandhiji. Okay. So, as I said, Ambedkar wanted the abolition of caste. Gandhiji said caste is not bad per se. Caste is not bad. Okay. These were some of the differences between Ambedkar and Gandhiji. Next, we will talk about debates on future strategy. So, after CDM, after civil disobedience movement, what happens? Okay, the first stage debate. What do you mean by first stage debate? So, CDM, just like after new non-cooperation movement, there will be, what happens after non-cooperation movement? We see the emergence of Swarajists, no changers, and also we see communists will come into place, socialists will come into place, caste movements will be there, trade unionism will be there. Many things happen after non-cooperation movement. So, similarly, what happens after CDM? Civil disobedience movement ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ? The first stage debate. So, after CDM, there will be three views. The first view is there should be constructive work. There should be constructive work. Second view, there should be constitutional struggle. That is, just like your Swarajists advocate for what? Council entry, that is legislative councils. They want to get into parliament and fight the elections. Similarly, here also one section wants to constitutional struggle. Okay, these are the two views. Okay, similar to the post NCM, post non-cooperation movement. Okay, so what does these people argue? Council entry people, what do they argue? Because there is no work for us, we will enter the council and fight the British. Okay, that is what is said by these people. Along with that, there will be third trend. In the third trend represented by Nehru and radicals. I already told what is radical. So Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose, what they say? No constructive work, no council entry. We will directly protest the British. Why are we suspending the civil disobedience movement? We should be continuously fighting the British until they get out of India. Okay, Nehru's vision. So Nehru actually, once the civil disobedience was called, he says he actually opposes Gandhiji. He opposes Gandhiji and says that it is a defeat. So Gandhiji, Jawaharlal Nehru works for Kisan Sabhas. Agriculturists would be organized into Kisan Sabhas, and trade unions, workers would be organized into trade unions. So he would work upon, after CDM, he would work upon organizing Kisan Sabhas and trade unions. So here Nehru's opposition to struggle, truce, struggle strategy. What is struggle, truce, struggle strategy? So NCM was there, right? NCM, what happened? Struggle against the British. Afterwards, there is a period of blankness, no work in the national polity. Next, CDM happens. CDM, there will be struggle against British. Against, there is a gap. Next, we have Quit India movement. This is the struggle. So this is called as struggle, truce, right? So there is a gap. This is called as struggle, truce, struggle strategy. So this strategy, this struggle, truce, struggle strategy was opposed by Nehru. Nehru said we should not have these break periods. Instead, we should have struggle, victory strategy. Directly struggle and attain victory. No break in between. Next, finally, yes to council entry. But Nehru's vision doesn't get accepted by Congress Working Committee. Even constructive workers, opposition to council entry, that will also not get accepted. And some people want to participate in elections. They would finally get the permission. Okay, so here both of them, some section want to participate in elections, other section don't want to participate in election. Gandhiji, both of them take Gandhiji's advice. Gandhiji says those who want to participate in an election, they can participate. Because some people don't like to do constructive work, they can participate in elections. Okay, here what happens? Gandhiji resigns from the Congress. Gandhiji, once this council entry people want to fight election, Gandhiji was actually not in favor. Though he allows people to contest elections, he was not in favor of it, and he was actually, there will be lot of fight within the Congress, and Gandhiji resigns from Congress. So which is the only session in which Gandhi was president of Congress? Belgaum session 1924, the session which happened in Karnataka 1924, that is the only session when Gandhiji was the president of Indian Congress. So we Karnataka people should feel proud of it. We should feel proud of it. Okay. Next, Government of India Act. So elections takes place in 1934, and these people win 45 out of 75 seats. Good number. They win 45 seats out of 75 seats. 1935 Act. I have already discussed this act in Indian polity and you can go and look there. However, I am going to briefly talk about it again. What is the main features? All India Federation. This act talks about All India Federation. You already told what is a federation. This act talks about All India Federation. I have already spoke about it. Federal level. So, at the federal level means central level. At the central level, executive. So, Governor General should be the head. Governor General should be the head. And here, reserve list and transfer list. Earlier, provinces. Provinces had what? Diarchy. Diarchy means reserve list, transfer list. Reserve list ruled by whom? By governor. Transfer list by ministers, right? So this was introduced in the central level. This was introduced in the central level. Okay. Legislature. Legislature, what are the changes? So here bicameralism was introduced. That is upper house and lower house. Today's Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha was introduced in 1935. Okay. So here they also introduced three lists: federal list, state list, provincial list, and concurrent list. Just like today's concurrent list, union list, and state list, they introduced three lists. And also there are many other provisions. You can look into it. Next, one more feature is provincial autonomy. Provinces were given autonomy. In the provinces, what are the executive features? In the provinces, it is governor. Governor would be the nominee. Governor would be the nominee of the king. He would have the powers. Legislature, separate electorates. Legislature, there will be separate electorates. All the members should be directly elected. There is no nomination. All members should be directly elected. And here there is no reserved and transfer list like earlier. Here there will be only one list. There will be only one list. So these are some of the provisions of the 1935 Government of India Act. We are going to end the class here. We will take up the class again from here tomorrow. Hope you found the class very useful. Please make good use of it. Thank you for your patience. I wish you all the best. Take care. Namaste.